Shalom, shalom, Yashaela, Israel. This is No Saint Left Behind. First of all, I just want to say, Kawala Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rikar Kwadash. That's all praises to the Most High in the name of His Son and in the name of the Holy Spirit. And I want to like to give double honors unto the apostles, a great millstone who rules well, which are the head apostles of Israel today, are ordained truly by the Most High, Yahweh and His Son Yahweh Shai. All right, today, this topic is going to be about reincarnation. Somebody was talking to me about reincarnation, and they was talking about how they believe that they done been here before, and which is it's all biblical, and I was talking to my brother. My brother's an ordained minister. He went to Bible college, and, so he pretty much, he was taught by the Edomites, the so-called white man, which is the Hebrew red man. So he was taught by the Hebrew red man, the Hebrew red Edomite, that is. And so what he was taught wasn't accurate, and so me and my brother was talking, and we was going over the word. This been a while back, and I was showing my brother in the word where we was talking about John the Baptist, really. And I was showing him what the word say about, reincarnation. He said he see it, but he don't believe it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna dedicate this teaching today, which this is the year of Charagma. We dedicate this teaching to reincarnation, and we're gonna get into it. We're gonna start off with John the Baptist, and we're gonna allow the Rikar Kwadash, the Holy Spirit, to take us elsewhere if the Most High Yahweh desire. All right, and I'm gonna start off in Malachi chapter 4, and then in Malachi 4, chapter 4 and 5, it says, "Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahweh." All right, it says he's gonna send, the Most High say he's gonna send the prophet Yahweh back, the prophet Elijah back before the dreadful and coming day of Yahweh. So we should be able to close the book right there. He said he's gonna send the man back. Then that lets you know reincarnation exists. But we're gonna go a little deeper. Most people can't get it. And if you can't get it, it's because it's not for you. The Most High is not dealing with you. You're not part of the elect, the 144,000 and a chosen 1/3. Verse 6, "And he shall turn the hearts of the fathers of the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse." And that curse is thermonuclear fire, which is called the lake of the fire, which will be these thermonuclear missiles, the IBM missiles that all these nations is going to fire upon America. And we believe in the spirit that this word came back into existence full-fledged. We was really woke up, and I think in the end of the 60s, we're starting with Abba Bibbins. Abba Bibbins, we believe in the spirit, is Elijah, which was to come back again, which who you would call John the Baptist. And first we're gonna go and read what happened to Elijah, and then we'll go into the New Testament, and we'll get John the Baptist. So we're gonna go to 2 Kings. Let's see what happened to Elijah first, because the Most High say he's gonna send Elijah back. First, we're gonna find out what happened to him. 2 Kings 2 and 11. Matter of fact, I'm right there. All praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. 2 Kings chapter 2 verse 11. "And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked," this is talking about Elijah and Elisha, they was walking and talking, and Elijah told Elisha if he see him taken up, that he gonna get double the anointing that he had. So this is what's going on now. And they walking, and he's talking to his so-called protege, which the man of Yahweh who he had in training was Elisha at that time. So Elijah and Elisha is talking. It says 2 Kings chapter 2 verse 11. "And it came to pass, as they still went on and talked, that behold, there appeared a chariot of fire and the horses of fire, and parted them asunder, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven." All right, so this is deep, because once you get into this, you find out that this chariot of fire is what you call today a so-called UFO. All right, which is we call it IFOs because we identify the flying object. The Hebrew red man, which is so-called white man, the Edomites, They call it UFO, which means unidentified flying objects, because they can't identify. I mean, they know what it is, but they telling you they don't. You know what I'm saying? They know what it is, but they telling the masses of the people that they little green aliens, and they got you believing in reptilians and all this bull. So I mean, we know that these so-called flying objects that you see are the chariots of the Most High. And it said the chariots of fire. And when you see these things, it look like flying fire. Just like if you go back to Egypt, when we was brought out of Egypt, when the Most High used Moses to bring us out of Egypt, said it was a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. That was the chariot. They say, okay, it says a chariot of fire and horses of fire. Now, when it says in the horses of fire, that's talking about the power, the swiftness of the chariot. And the horses right here is really representing the angels that was inside the chariots. All right, and it's gonna get into it. And it says, and Elijah went up by a whirlwind into heaven. So, no, hold on. It says in Salakia, it says a chariot of fire and horses of fire, and parted them both asunder. So it said that this chariot, this so-called UFO, it parted Elijah and Elisha asunder, which means if you ever watch Star Trek, you would see in Star Trek where when they say beam me up, Scotty, and that light that shine upon them, and then it takes them up. All right, that's the same thing that happened when Elisha and Elijah was parted asunder. It was just a light that went over Elijah, and it didn't go over Elisha. See, the light was just on Elijah and not Elisha, and it parted them asunder. That means it pulled them up. It separated them. And so when you watch Star Trek, most of these movies you watch, they get out the Bible. Star Trek is just based on Ezekiel and the chariots that they read out through the Bible, man. You know, when you see Star Trek take off into another so-called galaxy, it looked like fire and it just vanished. You know what I'm saying? So that's the exact same thing. You know, all these movies, most of these movies are based off the word. So when Elisha and Elijah was parted asunder, it was just the light, that beam came over Elijah and not Elisha. All right. And it says he went up in the whirlwind. It pulled him up. All right. He was pulled up and translated into a spiritual body before he entered that chariot. Because we understand that the Most High can't be in the presence of sin. All right. In verse 12, it says, and Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, my father. So in Hebrew, they say he cried, Abba, Abba. My father, the chariot of Israel. And it say no aliens or no UFO. He said the chariots of Israel. So when you be seeing these things, these are the chariots of Israel. You can go through my page. I got plenty of videos of the chariots of Israel. It says the chariots of Israel and the horsemen. What you think he mean by in the horsemen? He's talking about the angels. The angels are the horsemen. The horsemen. Who ride horses? Horsemen. So the so-called horsemen that he seen was the angels driving these chariots. And he says, verse 12 again, and Elisha saw it, and he cried, my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And he saw him no more. And he took hold of his own clothes and rent them in two pieces. So the Bible teaches that Elisha never saw Elijah again. So he went to a state of mourning. That's a part of mourning we should do when we rip our clothes off. So he went to a state of mourning because Elijah was caught up into the chariot of the Most High with the angels, which the Bible was calling the horsemen. All right? And so we understand that Elijah was translated. He didn't taste death at that time. He was called up. Okay, and then we see in Malachi 4 and 5, it says, behold, I will send Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of Yahweh. And he shall, verse 6, and he shall turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, in the heart of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. Now we're going to turn to Matthew's 11, and we're going to get in Matthew's 11 where it says that, where Yahweh Shah says that John the Baptist was Elijah. All right? But this wasn't the coming that Malachi was talking about. Even though John the Baptist was Elijah, the coming of Elijah, that Elijah would come and turn the hearts of the people back to Yahweh, was during, I believe that prophecy was filled around the end of the 60s, between 67 and 69, when Abba Bibbins, the prophet Abba Bibbins, came and he brought the word to one West, well, to our elders, of which is the apostles of Great Millstone, you know, and to Ariah and King Mashai and all them. All them came up under Abba Bibbins. And Ariah, King Mashai, and the other great men of the Most High, they passed the word down to our apostles, which are the head apostles of Great Millstone, starting with the apostle Tahar, the head apostle Tahar. All right, so that was Malachi 11. That was the Malachi 4, 5, and 6 that was being fulfilled then. But Elijah showed up during the time of Yahweh Shai, which was John the Baptist, and we know that John the Baptist was 6 months older than Yahweh Shai, and they was cousins. Their mothers was cousins. All right, so we're gonna go to Matthew's 11, and we're gonna start at 11 and 11. Matthew's 11 and 11, and it's written in red. So this is Yahweh Shai speaking. He says, "Verily I say unto you, among them that are born of women, there had not risen a greater than John the Baptist. Notwithstanding, he that is least in the kingdom of heaven is greater than he." So the Yahweh Shai, our Messiah, said there was none born of a woman that was greater than John the Baptist. But then he came and said, he that is least in the kingdom is greater than John the Baptist. So that lets you know that the race is not given to the swift, but is given to who? Those who endure until the end. It don't matter if they came into the truth in the 60s or if they came into the truth today. In the eyes of the Most High, you are equal as long as your heart is sincere in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Verse 12, "And from the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffer violence, and the violence take it by force." So it says, of the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven suffer violence. What did he mean by the kingdom of heaven suffer violence? See, we understand according to the word, the kingdom of heaven is you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, which are what? The 12 tribes of Israel. You are the lost sheep. You are the Israelites. You are the kingdom of heaven. So when he was saying that the kingdom of heaven suffered violence, when Yahweh Shah was born and when he was on the earth, he was what? Born into Roman captivity. You know, the Hebrew red Edomite, which so-called white man, is the one that was ruling at the time of Yahweh Shah's birth. So John the Baptist was born into captivity, and Yahweh Shah was born into who? Captivity under the Romans, who we are on captivity right now. We are under the Roman captivity again. That was the beast that was wounded and then, you know, came back and took his power, his right place. All right. So we are still suffering violence today. The kingdom of heaven, which is you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You are the kingdom of heaven. You the one suffering violence. You the one getting shot down dead in the streets. They still hanging us. I mean, we in captivity. We still suffering violence under the Hebrew red Edomite, so-called white man. Verse 13, "For all the prophets in the law prophesied until John." Verse 14, "And if ye will receive it, this is Elijah, which was for to come. He," verse 15, "he that had ears to hear, let him hear." So Yahweh Shah was saying that John the Baptist was Elijah reincarnated. He was Elijah back in the flesh. And then verse 15 said, "If he that have ears to hear, let him hear." And that's everybody have ears. That's not saying with your physical ear. That's a spiritual talk. So if you have the spirit of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, the Father and the Son, if you have the spirit of Yahweh, then you will understand this. You will hear this. But those who are not a part of the call or the elect, they're not going to receive this. They're not going to hear this. Why? Because the Most High is not dealing with them. They don't have the spirit of Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. All right? And so let's go to, matter of fact, let's go to Ecclesiastics. Let's go to Ecclesiastics, man. We got to get into let you know that, there's nothing new under the sun, man. The Most High is not making, Yahweh Shai is not making new people. He created everything in the beginning. He's not making new people today, man. Everybody that you've seen always put to death during the flood. When the first death was the flood. When the Most High flooded the earth, everybody was put to death then, except Noah, his wife, his 3 sons, and their wives. Everybody else was put to death. See, the Most High is not making new people, man. Matter of fact, let's go, let me get this. Let's go to, matter of fact, let's just go to Ecclesiastes 4:16 first. Let's read Ecclesiastes 4:16. Let's get into that. Because you got to know that when the Most High said he created everything in 6 days? And when did he rest? He rested on the Sabbath. On the Sabbath day. So that lets you know that he's not making new people. Give me a second, people. This wind blowing, blowing my scriptures around. It ain't like it was last week. All right, last week it was hot. This week it's a little chilly, but the sun's still out. So let me go to Ecclesiastes 4:16. Trying to hold all this stuff in my hand. Here we go. Ecclesiasticus, which is right after Proverbs, 4:16. And 16 read, there is no end of all the people. See, the Most High is telling you right now in Ecclesiastes 4:16, there is no end of all the people. So there's no such thing as these people was done away with thousands of 100 years ago. I don't care if you die. I don't care what happened to you if you're taken up by the Most High. There is no end to all the people. So that lets you know that the people are reincarnated. They come back into a different flesh. You come back, you ain't gonna come back as no animal or nothing like that. If you was a man, you're gonna come back as a man through your same family bloodline. If you was a woman, you're gonna come back as a woman through your what? Same family bloodline. All right? Ecclesiastes 4:16. There is no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them. So the Most High say, even the ones that's been before us, there is no end of them. There is no end of the people that was before Moses. There is no end of the people that were before Adam and Eve. See, a lot of y'all think Adam and Eve was just, the first people the Most High created. No. Adam and Eve, they both have mothers and fathers, man. That's just the people that the Most High chose to bring his chosen line. Israel, his chosen line, the sons of Yahweh, the sons of power, through. That's it, man. That's all. That's why you can read, I think Genesis 5:1-2 shows you that. All right, he says, there is no end of all the people, even of all that have been before them. They also that come after should not rejoice in him. Surely this also is vanity and vexation of the spirit. So the Most High is showing you right here that there is no end to nobody. I don't care who it is. Your grandma, your great-great-granddaddy, he's back. We was the same people that they was raping, robbing, and they was hanging. We the same people that was in Egypt in captivity. We the exact same people. And you so-called Negroes, which are the American blacks, the Jamaicans and West Indies and Haitians, you was in Israel when Yahweh Shah, who you called Jesus, walked the earth under the Roman captivity. We the exact same people, man. There's nothing new under the sun. And we're gonna get that as well. We're gonna get that as well. But first we're gonna go to Ecclesiastes 1. And we're gonna start off, let me see. We're gonna start off with 1. It said the words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem, which would be King Solomon, which if you will receive, King Solomon was Yahweh Shah, who you ignorantly called Jesus. Verse 2, let me see. Let me go to verse 4. It says, one generation passed away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abide forever. All right, let me go down to verse 9. The thing, Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. See, the Most High Yahweh is saying everything that was is now. Everything that's going to be is now. And there's no new thing under the sun. Yes, you was here 200 years ago, 100 years ago, 300 years ago, 3,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago. Yeah, you was here. And most of you niggas was the same wicked niggas back then that you are today. The only people that's really gonna get this truth is the only people that was following the Most High and His Son, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, in their past life. All your generations, all your coming and going, you was doing the will of the Most High to the best of your ability. And that's why He said that 2/3 got to go. Only 1/3 gonna be delivered, because 2/3 was wicked as all hell. You know, just like they said, crucify him, crucify him. When they said crucify Yahweh Shai, and they said let His blood be upon our children, that was you so-called Negroes that did that. Salakia, y'all was the ones, you so-called Haitians, Jamaicans, and West Indies, and American blacks, you so-called Negroes, y'all was the one that's saying crucify him, and let His blood be upon us and our children. So that's why we going through what we going through, because the blood of Yahweh Shai is upon us because of what our ancestors did, man. I mean, even when we went to the Babylonian captivity, just think about it. Jeremiah was a prophet. Elijah was a prophet. Elijah was a prophet. They was doing the will of the Most High to the best of their ability. So why did they go into captivity? Because the Most High deal with us as a nation, man. The Most High deal with us as a nation. And so this is the same wicked generation that was here during the time of Yahweh Shai, man. When He said, "Oh, generation of vipers, oh, adulterous generation," that's this generation now. Because back then they wasn't being adulterous like they are today, because they'll get put to death. Like right now, if you're not dealing with a woman when she was a virgin, you're not married to her. You can only marry a woman that's a virgin because it's a blood covenant. So when you have sex with a virgin, what you do? Sex means to cut. So you doing a blood covenant through sex. You have to be a virgin. And nobody is getting a virgin right now. They getting a woman that somebody else had already, which is adultery. And most women is not with the first man they dealt with. They with another nigga. Because the church teaches you can have divorce. America stand upon divorces and remarriage. So that's adultery. We was the same people back then. He was talking about this generation today, Yahweh Shai was. He was talking about this generation. Oh, generations of vipers, you snake, wicked, serpent-like niggas, man. You are this adulterous generation. All right? Let me keep reading. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 9. The thing that have been, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Verse 10. Is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new? It have been already of old time, which was before us. So the Most High is saying you can't say nothing is new because everything has already been here. It was of the old time before us. You know, that's why somebody got some old jeans or something. They say it's back in style, but they used to wear it back in the 70s. There's nothing new, man. That's just like us. We're not new. We're just in a different flesh. Our spirit is in another flesh. Verse 11, there is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. So what the Most High is saying right here, even though you done been here before, you can't remember the things that you did in your past life. You can't remember the things that you've been through in your past life. Because he said there's no remembrance of former things. That means things of old, things before this generation. So he said you won't be able to remember what you did in your old life. And he said you won't be able to remember the things that's to come. Because once you leave this body and you go up to the Father, you know everything. But once you come back into this flesh, everything that you know, you leave up there with the Father. All right? So he's telling you. That's why you can have deja vu. You can have deja vu and you be like, damn, I done been here and did this before. But you haven't. You know what I'm saying? You haven't. But you maybe did in your past life. But the Bible said there's no remembrance of former things. So let's go to Ecclesiastes 3 and 14. Ecclesiastes 3, chapter 14, verse 14 says, I know that whatsoever God doeth, it shall be forever. So whatever the Most High created or whatever he done is forever. When he created us in the beginning, we was forever. And we've been here forever. We leave and we come back. Everything is recycled, man. Everything is recycled with the Most High. You're just coming through a different flesh. But you're coming through your same family line. All right? He says, I know that whatsoever Yahweh doeth, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. So, you can't add to what the Most High did, or you can't take from what the Most High did. And Yahweh doeth it, that men shall fear before him. Verse 15. That which had been is now, and that which is to be hath already been. And Yahweh require that which is past. So the Most High is saying that which to be is now, and that which was is now as well. So what he's saying, he said that the Most High required that which passed. So when you die and you go to the Most High, you get your judgment. And then when you're born back, you live out your judgment, man. And that's why you got people born with deformities. You got ADH children or people. You got people born blind, they can't see. You even got people that's like, you can see a kid, man. You can see a kid and you can be like, man, this kid ain't but 1 or 2, maybe 3 years old. You be like, man, it can be a little boy. You can say, man, this little boy he gonna be a little off. He gonna be a little, like he gonna be a homosexual when he grow up. Just by looking at him, you can say that. And when he grow up, because you can tell from his spirit, when he grow up, he become what? A sodomite, a homosexual. Why? Because in his past life, that's what he was doing, and he came back into this judgment to receive. And he came back into this life to receive his judgment for what he was doing in his past life. And so he came back in that homosexual same spirit, man. Matter of fact, let me show you something right quick. Let's go to Ecclesiastes 12. Matter of fact, let me make this thing simple. Let me go to Ecclesiastes 12. 12 and I think 6. 12 and 7. It says, then shall the dust, this is what happened when you pass away, when you so-called go to sleep or die. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto Yahweh who gave it. So the Bible teaches you as soon as you pass away, your spirit automatically goes straight up to the Father. All right, which they teach you different in church. They teach you go into a waiting place, or you go into hell, you waiting on judgment. But nah, the Bible teaches when you pass, your spirit goes straight to the Father, and you receive your judgment. Once you get your judgment, then you're born back into this world in another life to live out your judgment. And that's what, let me see, that's what Ecclesiastes 3 and 14 and 15 is talking about. Let's go to 16. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment. And so where we at? The sun, you see the sun shining dead on my face now. So we under the sun, and this is the place of judgment, according to the Most High. He says, Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there. In the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. So the Most High said, you got wickedness here, you got righteousness here. The righteousness is the men of the Most High, the body of Yahweh Shai that's out here teaching his word and doing to the best of their ability what the Most High said do, and living out these law, statutes, commandments to the best of their ability. You know, that's the righteous that's under the sun, that's in the place of judgment. And then you have your wicked niggas out here, and then it said iniquity was there. Iniquity just means sin on top of sin. You know, just like the Most High said, the word said don't eat shrimp. That's a sin. But you're going to have shrimp and lobster. Both of them are sin. So that's sin on top of sin. That's what iniquity means. All right. So he said, I'm going to read that again. And moreover, I saw under the sun, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, in the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. So once you die, according to Ecclesiastes 12 and 7, you go to the Most High. Your body goes straight back to Yahweh. You get your judgment, and then you're born. Once you get your judgment, you're born back into the earth to live that judgment out. Because this is the place of judgment. We under the sun. That's what the words say. All right? So that's reincarnation, man. Everything is recycled. You're always coming back, man. You're always coming back. All right? Let's go to Ecclesiastes 6 and 10. Ecclesiastes 6 and 10, it says, that which had been is named already, and it is none that it is, hold on, excuse me, Salakia. It says, that which, this is Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse 10, that which had been is named already, and it is known that it is man. Neither may he contend with him that is mightier than him. So the Most High Yahweh is saying right here, that which had been is named already, and it is known that it is men. So the Most High said, you have been named from the beginning. You've always been here. You've always been here. That's why he said, it is known that it is men. We always been here, man. We just come back to live out our judgment. You know, like the Most High said, there is no end of the people. Everybody comes back, man. You come back as if you was wicked, you come back just as wicked as you was in your past life. And if you was a righteous, that means in right standing with the Most High, and you come back righteous and right standing with the Most High Yahweh. Let's go to matter of fact, let's change gears a little bit. Let's go to Revelations 10 and 10. Let's get down into the nitty gritty. Let's go to Revelations 10 and 10. Revelations 10 and 10. And I took the ladder, hold on. And I took the little book out of the angel's hand. This is John talking, the Revelator. And ate it up. And it was in my stomach, and it was in my mouth, sweet as honey. And as soon as I had eaten it, my belly was bitter. So he's talking about this word. When he ate this word, it was sweet. But when it began to digest in, and when he began to study and show himself approved, it became bitter, because in this word is balance in this word, which means the Most High, like they said, my God is a God of love. Yeah, okay. He's a God of love, but he also is a God of judgment, which is the bitter. He said he created evil and he created wickedness, which is sweet and bitter. He said he killed, the Most High said he killed and he make alive, which is bitter and sweet. So he got an equal balance. So when you read in this book, it's going to be some things that you don't want to accept, but you got to accept it because it's in the book. Like the Bible teaches about rape. You got to accept it because that's what they did back then, and it's in the book. The Bible teaches about men having multiple wives, which, is bitter to most of the people. But it's in the book. You got to teach it. So you got to digest and receive the whole book. Because Yahweh Shah said, below, I come in the volume of the book. For it was written of me. It testifies of him. So if he come in the volume of the book, that means from Genesis to Revelations, including Apocrypha, which goes after Malachi and before Matthew's, which is in the 1611 King James. All that, you got to receive all that, man. And you got to teach it because it's the word. It's the word. That's why Yahweh Shah, they said, if they speak not according to this word, then there's no light in them. So if you're not teaching what the words say, which a lot of these alphabet camps are not doing, then there's no light in you. There's no truth in you. Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah is not dealing with you. All right, verse 11. And he said unto me, this is what the angel said unto John, thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. So what do he mean by John the Revelator must prophesy again? Does that mean he's going to be born again? Because when John was on the island of, Patmos, when they cast him out to the island, he was like 99 years old. So he was over like 100 years old, 99-something years old, 90-something years old. So he was on the island of Patmos, what they call it. I think it was a salt island, back then when they was getting the salt, that's how they made money. So when he was sentenced to go to the island and, and stay there and remain to be locked up, this is when the book of Revelations came to him. So he was already in his 90s or maybe 100. And so the word says, this is Revelations 10 and 11. And he said unto me, this is what the angel said to John, thou must prophesy again before many peoples and nations and tongues and kings. So he telling John that you're going to have to prophesy again before many nations, peoples, and kings and tongues. All right, so I would believe maybe John the Revelator might be here in America today, prophesying again. Because you got many nations of people in America. This is called the Great Melting Pot, right? You got people with many tongues. So, you got many people, many nations, and many tongues in America. So that means he was going to be born. He's going to have to be reincarnated to what? To prophesy, to teach this word again. So I believe that John the Baptist, most of the prophets are here today. I can't tell you who they are. I may be one of them. The apostles and the other brothers within Great Millstone or that's teaching the likewise doctrine, can be one of the prophets. And then you got the other jokers out there that was the deceivers back in the day, the false prophets. They heard too today doing the same thing they was doing then, lying to the people, not speaking according to this word. All right, let's go to Daniel. Matter of fact, let me get it out of here. Let's go to Daniel 12 and 13. And this is what the Most High said to Daniel. Excuse me. He says, but go thy way. He says, but go thou way till the end be. For thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of the days. So the Most High told Daniel to go and rest until the end be, because he said in the end he got to stand back in his lot. That means he's gonna have to start back prophesying. So the reason why he told him to go and rest, because the Bible said that we was gonna lose our inheritance. We was gonna forget who we were. We was gonna forget who we were. But then he said, Malachi 4, 5, and 6, that Elijah will come. Matter of fact, we need to read that. Let's go to Malachi again. Matter of fact, let me read this Daniel. I'm going to read this Daniel one more time. The Spirit wants me to do it this way. I'm going to read Daniel 12 and 13 one more time. He says, but go thou thy way till the end be. For thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of the days. So he told Daniel that you're going to rest because the Bible said we was going to forget who we were, which we did. And then when the end of the days come, you're going to stand, you're going to get back on your feet in your lot. You can become a prophet again and start prophesying to the people. All right? And that's what the Most High told Malachi, the prophet Malachi, in Malachi 4 and 5. Says, behold, I will send Elijah the prophet before the coming and great and dreadful day of Yahweh. Verse 6, and he should turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the hearts of the children to their fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with the curse. And we know that curse is the thermonuclear missiles. So Elijah came back to turn our hearts back to the Most High, which means we got our inheritance back. We begin to find out who we were. And we believe that was Abba Bibbins that did that. He was Elijah, which was forth to come to wake us back up to the Most High, to the truth. All right, and so now the Most High is telling us that Daniel, the prophet Daniel, is back today prophesying. You know, if he's speaking according to this word, it might be Daniel. I can't tell you if it's Daniel or not, but I know according to this word, he's back standing in his lot, prophesying, Daniel 12 and 13, but go thou thy way till the end be, for thou shalt rest and stand in thy lot at the end of the days. All right, we forgot who we were. Abba Bibbins came, which was Elijah, reincarnated, taught us this word back again. We was that's what the valley of the bones come in at. Our spirits were stirred up within us. The Most High woke them bones up and brought them back together and put us on our feet. He anointed our tongue. He gave us the word, and we were sent out. And now we are here bringing this word. Now we back in our lot. We doing what we was doing all our lives before all these different slaveries came. All right, let's go to, matter of fact, let's go to 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians 14 and 32. 1 Corinthians 14, 32. And the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets. So the Most High said that the spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets. So it doesn't matter who the person are, who the person was, whoever that prophet was back then, he's back today with that same spirit prophesying again, bringing glory and honor to Yahweh and his son Yahweh Shah. Because the Bible says in 1 Corinthians 14 and 32 that the spirit of the prophets are subject to the prophets. All right. Let's go to Sirach. Let's go to the book of Sirach, which is Ecclesiasticus. That's in the Apocrypha. Sirach 36 and 14. We'll start there. We're going to read 14 through 16. It says, fill Zion with thy unspeakable oracles, and thy people with thy glory. Verse 15. Give testimony unto those that thou hast possessed from the beginning, and raise up prophets that have been in thy name. You heard that, verse 16? Let's read it again. Because you seen a past tense. You seen something that was past tense in that. It says have been. Have been, that means before. So you raised up prophets that was before, that was doing the same thing before. Listen to it. Verse Ecclesiastes 36:15. Give testimony unto those that thou hast possessed from the beginning. So the Most High possessed all these prophets from the beginning. And we all back now prophesying again. And raise up prophets that have been in thy name. Raise up prophets that have been in thy name. So let's let you know that most of these John the Baptist, Elijah, who was John, Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, most of these prophets, man, that was back in the old days are back now, bringing the word of the Most High, Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah. All right, and I'm going to go to Second Ezra. Go to Second Ezra 14 and 35. We get ready to end this thing. Let me see. 2nd Ezra 14 and 35. He says, for at the death shall the judgment come. So the Most High said, at the death shall your judgment come. That's what we read in Ecclesiastes. When you die, that's your death, and you go to the Father, that's your judgment, and then you born back into this world to get your judgment. So that's what that's saying in 2nd Ezra 14 and 35. For at the death shall the judgment come. All right, so we read in Ecclesiastes, 12 and 7, that when you die, your spirit goes straight to the Father who gave it. All right, and then we read Ecclesiastes, I think it was 3 and 16, that I saw under the sun the place of judgment. So that's that recycle, man. That's that reincarnation. For at the death shall the judgment come, and we shall live again. You hear that? And we shall live again. So you get your judgment, and you come back and you live it out, man. He says, for after the, this is 2nd Ezra 14:35, for at the death shall the judgment come, when we shall live again. And then shall the names of the righteous be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. So he's saying the names of the righteous shall be manifest, and the works of the ungodly shall be declared. So that that's the kind of punishment that you get. And the righteous going to come back and do righteous things, and the ungodly going to come back and do what? Ungodly things, until we receive the kingdom. We receive the kingdom, everybody going to be righteous. All you so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, once we receive the kingdom, we all going to be righteous. The Bible said, for we ain't going to need no man to teach us again. We're going to be born with this word in our DNA. It's going to already be in our spirit. So we're going to always be right. We'll never go off once we get into our glory, our kingdom, which will be on earth. All right, let's go to 2nd Ezra 16, and I'm going to end with this. 16 and 16. Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to read 16 and 16. It says, like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer, returned not backwards, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again. So this was Ezra's, and Ezra was prophesying about, World War III. The nuclear. He's seen all these nations come against Babylon, Egypt, which is America, spiritual Babylon, spiritual Egypt, spiritual Syria. He's seen all these nations come together and shoot nuclear missiles on America. All right, on his daughter of Babylon. He's seen this, and so that's why he said, verse 16, 2nd Ezra 16:16. If you read this chapter, you'll see, you'll get it. He says, like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer, returned not backwards. That's a nuclear missile. Once it's shot, and these missiles have GPS in them, and they go straight to their destination, man. They hit straight on the target. You watch it, you see what they do. He says, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again. So all these plagues that the Most High said that he's going to do to America, and likewise countries that drunk of this cup, is going to happen. He said he sent, once his word go out, it doesn't return back to him void. So these things are going to occur soon. Verse 17. Now this is Ezra, the prophet, talking. Verse 17, he says, woe is me. Woe is me. And woe just means destruction. So he said he's going to be destroyed. Because he see this massive fire, man. He see this nuclear fire take place. So he's like, damn, how am I going to survive this? Salakia for my language. He said, how am I going to survive this? You know what I'm saying? In his vision, is what he sees. So he's like, can't nobody survive this nuclear fire. Can't nobody survive these arrows. And say, verse 17, he said, woe is me, woe is me. Who will deliver me in those days? So Ezra was like, I think, during this time, it was like 500 years before Yahushua came, So Ezra was saying, now, and it's been almost what, let me see, how long has it been? About maybe 2,500 years since Ezra's wrote this. And so he's saying, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? So the prophet Ezra is saying, how shall he be delivered? He's letting you know that he's going to be back. He's seen himself when those missiles were shot at that time. You know, but he didn't see himself being caught up in those chariots. So he's saying, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? So what he's seen himself there. So he's letting you know that he's going to be here when those nuclear missiles come. He's letting you know Ezra's here today. So when the World War III started, those nuclear missiles strike, you know, Ezra, he's here. And he's going to be caught up in those chariots, because we know that Ezra was a righteous man of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So that's reincarnation, man. Everybody of old is back, and we back bringing his word. You know, there's nothing new on the sun, and it's known that is man. You was wicked in your past life. Your ass wicked today. You was righteous and right standing with the Most High. Today you in right standing with the Most High, and it's only 1/3 in 144,000 that's going to be delivered. 2/3 going to be wiped out. There's nobody in America that's going to survive. If you're not in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, when this World War III hit, you're not going to survive. Nobody's going to survive in America but the elect of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, and the 1/3. Those that's calling on Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua and rehearsing these righteous acts, which is the law, statutes, commandments to the best of their ability. Them the only people that's going to be delivered out of America. No other nation is going to be delivered out of America. If you're not of the 12 tribes, you will not be delivered. You will be burned here in America. I'm just telling you that for a fact. All right? So I just want to say, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, double honors to the apostles, a great millstone, and shalom to the Akims out there. Shalom.